appeal from ethos, and that really is the credibility of the person that is making the appeal. So in your own relationship, you, Jocelyn, are probably more likely to be persuaded by Matt than some stranger off the street, because you know him, you trust him, you love him, you have history with him, as opposed to somebody that's just walking up. However, if a person walked up on the street and was an expert in whatever that field was, or was an expert in whatever that area was, and you know that Matt was not, and you would say, hey, Matt, this guy's a doctor, and he understands cancer, and, you know, he's got all of these degrees, and he does brain surgery, and when he says this, I think we should believe him. You know, and so you have a credibility for that type of person because of their ethos, and that's their character and their credibility, you know, their competence, their credentials. All of those things kind of like set someone up as an expert. And everybody's trying to be an expert anymore. You know, everybody wants to be a guru. What is a social media influencer? It's somebody out there who tells you that they're important. You know, and what is it that convinces us that they're important? They have a lot of followers, they get a lot of views, a lot of people are listening to them. It doesn't matter if they've had any education necessarily. It doesn't matter if they've been to school or whatever, but they have a platform and a lot of people listen, and so that gives them influence, it gives them credibility. They call that social proof. When other people say you're good, or you're an expert or an authority on a subject, then other people are more likely to believe you. And so social proof is also, if you would call it, an evidence of the ethos of an individual. And so I think that when you use those appeals in ethics, you can appeal to logical proofs. You can appeal to the credibility of yourself when you're trying to speak to someone. You know, I've been truthful to you. You know, I've been honest with you. You know, I have your best interest at heart when I'm telling you things. I'm not going to tell you something like that. But if you're a liar, and if you've told untruths and you don't have credibility and they don't trust you, you've broken, you're going to have a difficult time persuading them. And then to appeal to the things that those people are passionate about. You've heard oftentimes that everybody's a leader, or leadership is influence. And yes, it is to a certain extent. But what I thought was, there is no leader without followers. If nobody's following somebody, they're not a leader. They may think they're a leader, or they may have the title of leader, but nobody's following them. They're mistaken, they're living in a self-delusion, or they think that they're doing it, you know, so they think that they're leading, but they're not leading. And, you know, people will do what they have to say because they're getting paid, or they lead out of position and authority, but that really does not move the organization forward. It does not engender a great team. It does not bring people together. It just does certain things. So for me, that's a philosophy of leadership that I have, is that I want to be the kind of leader that I want. I just read it today. It was in a quote, be the leader that you want to follow. You know, what are the things that everybody looks for in a person that they want to follow, that they want to, you know, that they'll follow in their life? And so those are the characteristics. And so I think good managers would do well to develop those characteristics in their life. When you, Matt, were talking about, you know, how do I get better at communication? You know, how do I get better at, you know, how do I develop these things? That's just personal growth and development. You know, that you've got to care for people, that you've got to take time to be with people, that you've got to be interested in what they're interested in. You've got to look at them as authentic human beings. You've got to look at them as created in the image of God. You've got to have that perspective. There's that quote, nobody cares what you know until they know how much you care. You know, so people want to know that you care about them. And if you develop those characteristics in your life and you work on those things, I think you become a better leader and you become a better manager, and people want to work for you.